Hey everybody, it's me, Angel Benton, and it is time for another edition of Angel Sudsy Recap, where we delve into the world of daytime television, and we do a few reality shows on the side. And one of the reality shows that we're doing is The Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't just keep up with the Joneses, I am the Joneses. I may be small, fucking candy. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, anyways. Okay, so here's a programming note. I need to mention a programming note before we continue. So, is it this week? No, next week will be my last Sudsy recap for a while of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Now, Atlanta and Beverly Hills usually have the two longest seasons. So, depending on how long it takes for me to do The Amazing Race, which is what I'm doing on Mondays instead, we'll see how long, if I'm coming back to the Housewives of Atlanta or not. So next week will be the last Sudsy recap about the Housewives of Atlanta, at least for the short term, because I've got a couple other shows I'm going to be doing too. So, anywho, all right. So this week, there actually was not a new episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta because it was Christmas Eve. So instead of that, what they did was they aired the social edition. And I really do love that they did that. So the social edition is when they compile all of the tweets that people have about the show, and then they put them at the bottom, in the bottom left-hand corner of the show. So I always think that that's very interesting when they do that, and some of the ones are really good. Like some of them are hilarious. Some of them not so much. But I'm wondering if it's because I'm sorry, I've got like something in my eye. It's crazy. I'm wondering if it's because they didn't get the tweets in time, or I don't know what it is, but some of them it's like, wow, do they just need to put something up there, really? But the good news is we're going to do the exact same episode that we did last week, but this time I'm going to go into some different aspects of the episode that I didn't really talk about last week. So the first one, let's talk about Sheree and her search for her door for her basement. And Sheree was like, yeah, when I first, when the girls came to my house and they snuck into my basement, which was really Kenya, let's be real. And they showed a clip, too, of Kenya going, she said her house was more done than mine, She's like, yeah, but now I'm almost done with the basement, and so I'm going to have a spa, I'm going to have a movie theater, and I'm going, Jesus Christ, how big was that fucking basement? She's fitting all this shit in there. And so she needed to look for some doors for her basement. So she had Portia join her, and they got to discuss the things that had happened in last week's episode. But they went looking for doors, and they were at this, I didn't even know that they even had such a thing as door shops, but they did. And she told the guy what she was looking to do with it, and he's like, okay, obviously you want glass and steel. And so he's like, yeah, this one right here, this one looks like a double door, but it's actually a single door. And I'm going, oh my. And then Portia was like, ooh, look at the price tag, because it was like $8,000 for the door. She's like, okay, honey, if you've got them coins, you spend it. You go, girl. I thought that was so interesting. And then later on in the episode, we saw Sheree talk to her kids. And I talked about that last week and how I thought that was such a moving scene. But let's talk about this. After she's done talking to her children, Sheree talks to her life coach. He comes over to her house, and in the middle of her conversation with him, the phone rings, and it's Tyrone, her prison bae. Now, I think I got it. Okay, so the prison bae. Now, so this came up during the door shopping that she did with Portia. So what happened was Sheree took a prison photo with her husband or her boyfriend, or not her husband, because that would her ex-husband would be Bob Whitfield, but this guy Tyrone, her boyfriend. She took a picture with him, and she's wearing a T-shirt that says "Wifey," and Portia was like, "Did you get married and not tell anybody, Kenya?" And she was like, "I'm not married." No. So she said, if I get married, I want all the girls to be there. So I'm not going to get married in the dead of the night and not tell anybody. So anywho, she's talking to her life coach. The phone rings, and it is her prison bae. It's Tyrone. And she takes the call. She's like, I need to take this call. Now, here's the thing. I understand that. Because if because he's incarcerated, he only gets a certain amount of time that he can actually, A, use the phone, and then B, be on the phone. So if he calls, she's going to take the call, or else she's not going to hear from him probably for a while. So she takes the call. And in a way, it was really kind of sweet to see Sheree, smile. And kind of, she wasn't giddy, but she was definitely happy when Tyrone was talking to her on the phone. Is it troubling that he's in prison? Oh, a little bit, And they were talking about what he's in jail for, and she said that he was arrested for securities fraud, which is different from tax stuff. I mean, it's not the taxes, but it's really kind of splitting hairs in terms of why he was arrested to begin with. I mean, it was a financial crime. Actually, most likely that was prosecuted by the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, or FinCEN, and that what I do at my job is I implement software that we've created to keep casinos compliant with FinCEN's anti-money laundering laws. So that's just a fascinating bit about my work that I decided to bring into today's recap. Anywho, so that was a relatively interesting thing. So we saw that Candy and Riley went indoor skydiving, and Riley was a little bit, I don't want to say bitter, but she's bordering on resentful because her mom is never available. She's not home a lot. And she was like, when you were young, you wanted to go on tour all the time. Now that I'm going on tour, you don't really, want to. And she's like, yeah, but I've got things And what she's trying to say is that, as a teenager, it's a lot different than being a little girl and enjoying the traveling and stuff. And if you've got a bunch of stuff at home that you need to take care of, then I get that you want to stay home. So, unfortunately, trying to make everything work, I mean, it's going to be tough for Candy this season. I can't wait to see how this goes, because I think that she's really going to try to make a conscious effort with Ace, but she is in demand. You know what I mean? Like, people love her some Candy. She was just on, actually, live with Regis and Kelly, and they were talking about the amazing chemistry that Kelly and Candy had, and I was like, ooh, look out, Ryan Seacrest. Candy would take that job in a New York fucking minute. If they offered it to her, she would take it. You know what? I think that next time that Ryan is gone and Kelly needs a guest host, I think she should have Candy do it. I think they would be hilarious together, actually, to be honest with you. I think it would be really fun. I say do it, Candy. Do it. You know who we haven't seen a lot this season? Mama Joyce. Now, granted, the season is still relatively young, but I love me some Mama Joyce. I was just remembering today how Mama Joyce, I think it was maybe like two seasons ago, was talking about how, yeah, I heard that when I drink Moscato, I read people. And Candy laughed in her face. And she's like, you read people when you wake up in the morning. You read people all day long. What the hell are you talking about when you get drunk? Yeah, right. Yeah, right. So I thought that was so cute and so funny, because you know, what's funny is, you know, my grandma, the one who's the reason why I'm doing the whole Sudsy recaps anyways, she totally reminds me of Mama Joyce, actually. She really does. And I love their relationship. I think it's really cute and sweet. And I love it. Anyways, thank you so much for logging on today. I do appreciate you taking the time to watch this recap. Um, Please feel free to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Angel Benton. You can hashtag RHOA or Real Housewives Shit to talk about the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Or you can also hashtag Bold and Beautiful to talk about the Bold and Beautiful, which I'll be doing next. And you can hit that subscribe button on my YouTube channel to get my YouTube videos sent to your email inbox every single day. Alrighty, everyone, have a wonderful day. Peace out. Wubba, wubba, wubba.